It's hard to know exactly where to place yourself when you're staring into a camera lens. You're never quite sure whether you're cutting yourself off the middle of the forehead or dropping off your chin or half an ear or something. But here we are. The reason why I've popped back to see you is A, to prove that I actually do own a second shirt, but also to announce my return to the Winburndale, of all places. Surprise! You're probably asking yourself, why does he keep going back to that river? I keep going back to it primarily because there's gold in it. That's probably my biggest, I won't say that's definitely not a picker, but that's a nice little rough bit. Yeah, as I was saying, Adventure Gold, that's what makes things easier. This was have suspended his account temporarily, we hope, due to some quote-unquote legal issues, and we'll hope that he gets through them unscathed. There's too much good content out there to be deprived from the world. That's, I suppose, him more than anyone inspired me to get out, so I hope he's in a good place. I know how fraught these things can be. Word legal just sends a chill up everybody's spine, I suppose. But, smooth and rough stones. Slide it off quickly. You can see there's plenty of river worn pebbles. My thumb. Band-aid on that before I go and wash it, because I don't want to dip it into that putrid river. That's how much I've got. Can't imagine you're hugely interested, but I keep in my pocket this little plastic bag. Just a little useful goodies, including band-aids, cleansing wipes. What else have I got? Sunscreen lotion. It's a more modest sized band-aid rather than one of these huge ones. Just keep that in my pocket at all times, just for minor first aid. You wouldn't think, you know, big sook. Why would you bother? Well, all I've been hearing this morning are goats, and I'm sure those goats come down to the river to drink, and I think they're too discriminating where they leave their refuse. So if this protects me a little bit, then it's all good. Rubbish in my pocket. Let's go pan it. It's like a reveal on one of those furniture shows, doesn't it? One of those makeover shows where you go and looking a bit feral, and you come out looking like a glamour. It's just the building up of the tension. Those master chef meals from their master. Completely likely to make a meal of this. So. Oh yeah, that's a decent pan. Don't want to get up too close. That's what I got. That's probably my biggest, I won't say that's definitely not a picker, but that's a nice little rough bit. Really happy with that. Snuff those up. Gone. Very good pan. Well, after that little win, I press the advantage, and the theory is that if the water sluices along here,
I had to pull a big rock out there. This wasn't really a natural depression. Where would it go after that? It's either going to push over here or start dropping down here. So I'm going to have a look at this section here, grab a pan of material out of that, wash it, see how I go. The hardest thing is always finding a comfortable place to sit. Anyway, this is what I'm looking at. I don't think there'll be much at the top here. I'll dig it out anyway. I'm really interested in the bottom of this hole. Well, I got 3 decent sized bits out of that, but very cleverly washed all the rest back into the creek, which happens sometimes, I guess. But and that's what I'm digging out. You can see that it's almost a perfectly symmetrical little triangular divot, and I've got I don't think there's a pan left in it, but there might be a few scrapings. This is what I've got so far at the bottom there. I'm going to carefully classify this and just take it down and wash it, see how I go, fingers crossed. How much soil is actually left in here? I need to classify this as going straight in the pan. I hate it when I drop soil which I know hasn't got anything in it on top, and then I just have to chase it out again. Alright. I do not want to, when I'm sucking this out into my pan, I do not want to be accidentally swallowing any, because this is the Winburndale. Both ends of this tube are just as putrid. Christ. I can't do it for me. Well, that looked pretty foul. This God, from my efforts, there better be something in that. It's never too early to eat. More importantly, before I flush my mouth out, it's full of grit. That was good though. half my sandwich now. It's 9:30. And I'm hungry. And McDonald's isn't really food, so I stopped at Lithgow more for the toilet break than anything else. Had a good day so far. I know the camera's on a little bit of a tilt. I found some decent gold. I found that big flake, and I'm going to call it a big flake, even though it's not a pickup. It's a big flake. That big flake, that was a good size. Biggest bit of gold I've found so far, and there was gold in every single pan, including that last one. I swallowed a mouthful of crap. It was even a microdot in that, but it just wasn't, you know. I don't think anything penetrated that deep is my point, so I'm not going to keep digging in that tiny little hole. But that hole there, there's just one spot that I picked at random because it looked okay, and I mean, I could spend the entire day just on the rock that I'm sitting on here today, but I did want to explore a little bit further, so I'll stick to my plan sort of, insofar as I want to cover a bit of new ground today. I want to get a little bit further than I did on my very first trip. All I seem to have been doing is bouncing from spot to spot in between since then, and I just want to see what's around the next corner, I suppose. So I'll eat my delicious sandwich, a bit more water, and get going. You know what I'm going to say, don't you? So that's the bend in the river, comes around here. So this is all one bend. It straightens out. It continues on down towards the rivulets where I was before. Now, what you might see on the inside bend is this band of gravel through here. Remember that's getting close to the top of the bend. There's a tree there with quite a lot of rock and heavy rubbles and gravels behind it. And right next to me here is another very large rock behind a tree. And behind this rock, can you see that? More heavy stones. I don't think the back of that rock has ever been dug out. It's a nice shady spot for me to do it. It is getting pretty warm, so maybe I'll spend a little bit of time doing that. Gravel down here. I'll know soon enough whether or not there's any gold here. I really like panning where there's a lot of organic material. I love it, as you can see. See how we go. Right, I didn't really want this to be a particularly paying section, but hope you can see that at the top of the pan. 4 specks and 1 tiny little speck, unfortunately, so I'm going to have to spend a little bit of time here. Well, 15 specks, not even really specks. Yeah, 15 dots in that last pan. So what I've discovered is behind this big slab of rock, there seems to be a flat plane of rock underneath, and it's not too deep. So I'm just digging down maybe 6 inches and meeting this very flat piece of rock. So obviously what I'm going to have to do is just dig that section out completely and just keep prospecting till I stop finding gold. But it's a warm day. The water here is about the most putrid I've seen yet on this river, and it's getting warm, so I'm having to walk downstream a little bit to clear a patch to do my panning. It's just too foul, all this scum on everything. But yeah, I never expected to find such decent gold here, so I'll just keep digging. I mean, you know, you look at the spot and you think, you apply basic principles and you would think, yeah, there's gold there. So I really shouldn't be surprised, but I am. I'm still surprised every time I find gold. You know, I feel like this is my first day. Every day is my first day, so maybe I'm slowly but surely getting better at this, I don't know. So here's something you don't see every day. I was sitting over here, to the front of the camera here, panning that last one out. Got 2 specks out of it, washed it, look to my, you can see where my tailings are, over there, and happened to look over here, and there's gold. There's flaky gold just lying on top of the rock. Not just one flake, there was lots of flakes. So, get a snuffer bottle. I'm going to snuff those babies up. There's 20 or 30 of them. Easily 20 or 30. Like the top of this rock is just coated in it. Faintest, foggiest idea where they came from. Not under this rock. That was the freakiest thing I think I've ever seen. Literally the freakiest thing I've ever seen. So 4 bits of gold out of that little hole. Dug that out and there was nothing in it. But in the slaty bedrock, I pulled apart a chunk of stone and 4 specks out of that one. So is it worth it? That level of vandalism? I'm not really sure. I'd rather find it in a way that doesn't involve tearing up this beautiful river. So I might leave the slaty bedrock alone, I think. I've almost come full circle. I'm going back to, if you can see through the trees, going back to that inside bend where I found the first and most profitable pocket of gold, where I found that larger flake. And I'll give that a crack. It's 1 o'clock now. I've got an hour and a half, so I'll spend an hour and a half with just working that outcropping through there. I've got to good access to water here and it's close to the car, so I think that'll end my day.